What if every night you're sleeping, Mount Everest is growing? Seriously, did you know it that Mount Everest is still a mountain in progress? Well, from the book While You Were Sleeping, we got a couple really curious things happening in the world every night while you're sleeping. First of all, we have Mount Everest. Do you ever dream of climbing Everest? Yeah, right? If so, the longer you wait to summit the world's tallest mountain, the higher you'll have to go. This massive mountain has been growing for over tens of millions of years, and it hasn't stopped. Every night you're asleep, Mount Everest is adding another 0.007 inches, or about 0.02 centimeters, to its already 29,305 feet, or about 8,850 meters. So every night while you're asleep, Mount Everest is busy growing. It's just a little bit, but it's doing it every single night. Now, while scientists can agree how fast this giant is growing, two nations are in disagreement as to how it should be measured. It's like, well, how do you measure a mountain? Do you ever wonder about that? But you see, China believes Everest should be measured from its base to its last rock on top. Nepal thinks it should be measured all the way to the height of its snow. Now, it may not sound like much, but this is a difference of about 13 feet or 4 meters in determining the actual height of Everest. So pretty amazing, right? Not only is Everest growing every single night you're asleep, or at least two countries haven't fully agreed upon how exactly tall it is. Now, I'd be really curious to see you weigh in. Which side do you think is correct? Do you believe that mountains should be measured all the way up to their last stone? Or do you think mountains should be measured all the way up to the last part of snow? How would you measure a mountain if the choice was up to you? Now, while you're thinking about that, what if you get curious about a sizzling lake? A sizzling lake, right? Well, have you ever been to a hot spring before or heard about a hot spring? You see, and we've talked about how in previous chapters about how a warm bath can help you fall asleep because it lowers or raises the body temperature and then helps you cool off and get tired. Well, a warm bath before bed can help you fall asleep. Well, there's a warm bath and then there's a hot bath. While North Americans are climbing into bed at night, on the other side of the planet, remember, while it's night in one side, it's day the other side. In New Zealand, for example, tourists are visiting the world's largest hot spring. So while you're going to bed in the United States, there's tourists in New Zealand visiting the world's largest hot spring. The appropriately named Frying Pan Lake is about 409,029 square feet, or about 80,000 square meters big. So it's a pretty big lake. What a great name, right? The Frying Pan Lake. If you had a choice to name a lake, what would you name it? Like, pretty good. But it's filled with water so hot, about 113 to 131 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 45 to 55 degrees Celsius. That's how hot this water is, that you can hear it sizzling as if it's frying bacon. The lake fills a crater created by the Tarawera volcano when it woke up with an eruption in 1886. A second eruption in 1917 cracked the earth again, releasing underground water to fill the crater. So not only is it the world's largest hot spring, it's relatively new. So all of these things happening every night while you're asleep. Again, I'd be really curious to hear what you think as far as what you would name a lake if you could name it anything, and how would you measure a mountain? As always, stay curious.